Hi guys, Shema Polot here. Today I want to turn you into an analyst. Okay, so we can't all be fancy data analysts and data scientists, hint hint, but I can show you how to be decent enough to use Excel really efficiently in your work and your private life. Okay, so I'm going to show you the top features that you absolutely need to know to go from beginner to intermediate / average. Okay, so let's get into it. To use Excel in the most basic way, you need to be able to load data into Excel, clean it, analyze it, and report it, okay? So all the features that I teach you help you to do one of those four things, okay? So start with loading. Loading data, I won't spend too much time on this. Most cases, the data just comes to you in Excel already, but you can also get it from survey reports, and you can download it from the internet somewhere or use whatever means, okay? So I won't spend too much time on that. The next thing is cleaning. Cleaning data means removing any unnecessary stuff that comes in your data, too many spaces, commas, slashes, periods, things like that. So how to remove them so you're left with just the data that you want to see, okay? That's cleaning. To clean, you need to learn how to use text functions. You need to learn how to use remove duplicates, and a few other functions. But the text functions you absolutely need to know are right, left, mid, find, and search. I won't get into those too much, but those 5 will help you pass data to remove periods and things like that, okay? The other thing that can help you, which is a little more complex, and maybe I'll talk about at the end briefly, is Power Query. That can help you clean your data a lot faster. We'll talk about that later. Then you can also remove duplicates, okay? However, for the text functions, if you have Office 365, then there are some new functions called text split, text before and text after, that sort of render the major use cases for those text functions irrelevant. So look into those if you have them. If you don't have them, then use those 5 text functions. The next thing is removing duplicates, okay? So there are 3 ways to remove duplicates in Excel. I'm using Excel on my Mac, so it looks a little different because my PC was giving me trouble, but just follow along and check on what it looks like on your PC, okay? But the first way to remove duplicates is using the unique array function called unique, which is there. And what unique does is it just takes the values in a specific range and it returns the unique values. So you see inactive and inactive, those are the only unique values in that specific range. So that is the first way to remove duplicates. The second way to remove duplicates is to, let me just get a section of this data from here and paste it here. Okay, so the second way to remove duplicates is to select the specific range and go up to data and then remove duplicates, and just select that there, click OK, and there you have it. You're left with, okay, that was weird. What it did was, it seems I didn't select anything in that range. Okay, so let me just do Peter, David, okay? Then I select these, go to remove duplicates, and there you go. 1 duplicate is left. You remain with Peter and David, okay? That's how we do it, okay? This here was causing us some problems just because I was getting it from somewhere else. So let me just remove this formatting here. Okay, all right, so that's the second way to remove duplicates, okay? The third way to remove duplicates is using what we call advanced filter. So I'm just going to select that range, and you go to, sometimes I forget where, data, yes, and you go to advanced. Okay, so then you go to copy to another location. This is very useful when you don't want the duplicates to be removed from the same range you're in, right? So I do copy to location, copy to, I'm going to put them here in J2. So let me say J2, unique records only. I click OK, and as you can see, Excel puts them right there. So inactive and active, those are the only unique values within that range, okay? I'm just going to delete those as well. So 3 ways to remove duplicates: using the unique dynamic array function, using remove duplicates in the data tools address bar on the top, and using advanced filter. Okay? Then the next thing you need to know for analysis is using the statistical functions, okay? So you need to know how to use the main statistical functions, which is sum, minimum, maximum, average, mode, median. Excuse me, let me show you an example. Okay, so we come here in our salary data. I'm just going to make this a little bigger. Okay, so I'm going to use the salaries table. Okay, first I want to add a space here. Control Shift and plus. Add a space there. I'm going to make this a table. Control Command T. Press enter, change this into a special Excel table. Minimum you get using the min function, min, and then I just get the range. And I get the salary data. There we go. Maximum is max. I do the same thing. I wait until this cursor hovers there. Maximum, minimum is average. So I get average and do the same thing, enter, and so on and so forth, right? You need to learn how to use those, as well as sums. You know, just you should know how to use sums to get the total salary in the entire range. You see that there, okay? Not going to spend too much time on all of them. But yeah, statistical functions, you absolutely have to know how to use those, okay? Next, we go to functions, okay? So there are very many functions in Excel, hundreds of them, even thousands even. But I want to show you the fundamental ones you need to learn. The first is the if function. If you don't know how to use the if function, lucky for you, I made a video on it, which you can find up here. But in this sheet, I want to show you what is a scenario where I used it. And I want to bring your attention to here, the formula bar up here. Okay, I created a function that is able to tell me which employees are active versus inactive based on if the expiry date is less than this date value right here, where it says if it's less than that date, then they're inactive. If it's greater than that date, then they're active. That's how the if function works. Again, if you need a tutorial on that, check this video up here. Otherwise, let's move on from there. Next is count. What count does is it helps you count the number of numerical values in a specific range. Okay, so for example here, if I select these values here and I press enter after entering the count function, it will tell me, give me 7, which just implies there are 7 numbers in that range. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Count A, which is complementary to count, counts everything within a specific range. Okay, so if I want to know just how many entries there are in this column, I use count A and I go through the whole range and it tells me there are 30. So I know that there are 30 entries in that range, and you can think of how that's applicable to you. Okay, then the text functions, I already talked about them. VLOOKUP is one of those functions that separates beginner Excel users from intermediary Excel users. It's slightly complicated, but very essential. Lucky for you, I made a video on it, which you can find here. VLOOKUP is a way for you to extract value from a different table and put it in another table, so you don't have to manually copy and enter, right? Just like copying in data entry. VLOOKUP simplifies that process. So check out this video and learn how to do that. An improvement on VLOOKUP is a function combo called index match, which lucky for you, again, I made a video about it right here. Index match is more complex than VLOOKUP, but also extremely better than VLOOKUP. So I recommend you learn how to use it. A bit complex, but let me know in the comments if you need more help with that. The improvement on both VLOOKUP and index match is a function called XLOOKUP, but it isn't available across Excel. So I don't want to just throw that at you. You may not have it in your Excel or Google Sheets. So that one special, but it's fantastic. It makes all these others irrelevant. The next one that I want you to talk about is SUMIF. SUMIF is useful to add up a bunch of different numbers based on a specific category. The example I'm going to use, I want to add up the compensations based on whether the people are active or inactive. Okay, so I use SUMIF. I use SUMIFs, which is the same thing. It just, the difference between SUMIFs and SUMIF is SUMIF takes only one criterion, SUMIFs takes multiple criteria. That may not make sense to you, but again, I'm just trying to point you in the right direction. Okay, so SUMIFs, first it takes the sum range. The sum range is there. Then it takes the criteria range. The criteria range I want is whether or not they're active. Then it takes the criteria, and for that, I just want to type active in quotation marks, and there we have it. It gives me the sum of values that are active in that cell. You can also find the sum of values that are inactive. And COUNTIF does the same thing, but it just gives you the count of values that are active and the count of values that are inactive. Okay. The next function is concatenate. Concatenate, this is a use case that I see a lot of people ask about. And you have first name and last name and you want to combine them together. So you can use concatenate. And all you do is click inside there, add a comma, add a space. If you don't add the space, then the names will come squished together. Close the bracket, and there you have it. The alternative to using concatenate, which is brilliant, is the ampersand or the and sign. To do that, you do the same thing, but instead of using concatenate, you just click there, add the and sign, use it to glue the space to, then use it again to glue it to that. Press enter, and we have the same exact thing. So learn how to use concatenate and the ampersand. That works in so many cases. I can think of at least 5 different ways you could use that right now. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is sorting and filtering. You should know how to sort data. For example, in this case, you may want to sort the last names in alphabetical order, either descending or ascending alphabetical order. All you would have to do is right click and go to sort, and you can sort A to Z or Z to A, and that's how that would work. So another way to filter them would be to go to filter, and then you can filter the sales value here. This looks different in Mac. On a PC, these filter arrows would show up here directly. I can use this table to show you. And so here you may want to find only the data for 2010. So you click that. And then here now what you have is only values in 2010, as you can see there, right? And then I'm just going to clear the filter so everything goes back to the way it was. But yeah, sorting and filtering, really useful for getting the exact data that you want. So look into that. The next thing that you need to be able to do, which is part of analyzing but also reporting the data, is charts and visualizations. Okay, so you need to know how to create charts. Lucky for you, I made a video about creating charts right here. 3 different ways to create charts really quickly. So check that video out. But so just really quickly, I'm going to create a quick chart by selecting the expiry date and compensation. So after selecting the data that you want, you go up to insert and you select the kind of chart you want. And there you go. And the chart is created automatically. There are hundreds of charts that you could create. I just want to show you that you should absolutely know how to use charts. So look into that as well. Okay, I'm just going to delete this chart. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is data validation, which is just a way for you to limit the entries within a sheet, especially if you're collaborating on a sheet. You don't want people to enter stuff and mess up your formulas or things like that. So look into data validation. But the most important aspect of data validation that I want to tell you about is how to create drop-down lists. I have a blog article about that I'll link in the description below. But really quickly, how to create a drop-down list. You have a cell, you go up to data, you go to data validation, you go to list, and so you can either select the range, you can select the range from the worksheet that you want to add, or you can manually type the information that you want and you click OK. And as you can see, Excel creates the drop down just like that. So that's how that works. I'm just going to go back there and clear all to remove that. But that's how you do it, okay? Then analysis, when talking about analysis, you can't do without pivot tables. You absolutely know how to use pivot tables. So really quickly, in this summary data, what I'm going to do is create a really quick pivot table that shows the average salaries by year, okay? First, you need to make sure the data is in a special Excel table, which it is, because when I click inside the data, you see table appear here. So then after I'm sure that's okay, I go to insert, then pivot table, I leave everything checked out, new worksheet, and then I go in here, and then so what I want to do is get the year and drag it down to rows, and get the salary and drag it down to values. And I don't want the sum of the salaries, I want the average. I click OK. It's going to expand this so you can see it really quickly. And there we go, it really quickly. I've created a summary of the average salary by year in under 30 seconds. Pivot tables absolutely essential. Look into them. I will make a video on these very soon. Those are all the features. The last feature that I said I would talk about at the end is Power Query. Power Query takes you from an intermediate Excel user to advanced. It's a way for you to extract data and load it into Excel and transform it. Well, extract data, transform it in Excel, and then load it back into Excel in a final clean version that you can use to report later, okay? It's fairly complex, but lucky for you, I made a video where I use Power Query to analyze some data, so check out that video there. But otherwise, Power Query is essential for automating report making. If you use Power Query well, you won't have to ever make your reports again. All you have to do is go in there and click refresh, and everything updates automatically. Sounds like magic, but I'm telling you the truth. Learn about it. But otherwise, with those features, you can be an above average user in Excel and become a decent analyst that will put you above almost everyone else in your workplace. So look into them. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you want me to touch on, delve into it more. Otherwise, see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.